Yeah, this was a fantastic weekend in Game Week 15. We had over 60 point haul. Yeah, let's start from the goalie. Nick Pope, spectacular. Gave us 9 points. Trippier was spectacular in that game against Southampton. And, beautiful, beautiful form that they kept up. Almiron was great in that game, too. So, kind of got a nice little haul. I think we tripled up on these captains. Dyer was terrible in the Tottenham game. I wish I had kept Saliba instead, but they had to make the money work. Henry and the draw was okay, and Alexander Arnold. I still think he should be playing midfield. He's in the wrong position. That's first the wrong formation for him. But anyways, they got a W. Konza was on the Aston Villa team that pulled off a nice little surprise against Manu. Watkins was great in that game. It was absolutely spectacular. A lot of hockey passes, lots of good runs, very few offsides. Great, great, great game. Neves played a really good game for Wolves. Better than expected. Even though they lost, he was like amazing in that game. Like he ran that midfield really well. Trossard always reliable to give you good points. Brighton won't beat them. So that from that game got 12 really good points from that game. And De Bruyne, as usual, high performer in that game against Fulham, as expected. Kane scored in that loss. But he was really good in that game. He's really finishing, and I'm looking forward to him doing it again. So like Sanchez, this thing as usual, but I know Pope would have had a great game, which was like a 75% chance, so we missed out on that. Right, he would have probably scored in that game if he had played. And then Barnes, oh man, he was really good in that Leicester game. Tillman scored like a world class goal, so I expected them to win that game anyway. So that's why I left him on the team. And Watkins again was really good in that game against Manu. That was a really good upset. That worked well for me and really brought up the points. The other game I was looking at was the Arsenal game. I thought that was going to be really close. Arsenal beat them. Saliba scored, and the game I expected to be a draw with the West Ham and Crystal Palace game almost was a draw. They got a goal in the very last few minutes of the game. One of the last plays of the game they scored. So they got that W. Very, very important for them to move up in the table. It's gonna come back to haunt them, West Ham in the later part of the season. Leeds, they made a really good comeback for Bournemouth. Bournemouth was up. They were flying high at 3-1, and then Leeds just took over the game and came all the way back to win that game. I didn't put any players from Bournemouth or Leeds in the fantasy league because I didn't know which way that game was going to go. That game was, as I expected, that could have gone either way. And it was one of the most exciting games in the Premier League for the whole season. So I was good to stay out of that mess. Man City beat Fulham. We knew that was going to happen. And if Mitchell Rich played, he would have scored. And then, put brought up our points a little bit more. But 6-1 haul, pretty good. And I'll have a review of this. I'll have a prediction for the game week 16 because what's happening now is we're almost at the World Cup. So the next game week is for the 12th weekend of the 12th, and then the following one is for Boxing Day. So we have one more weekend to go. I'll send out those predictions for these games, or I'll build up the team for that game. It looks like it's going to be an easy game to pick, but this is really where my trouble is. I have no idea which way this game is going to go. I gotta look at the teams and see who's going to be available. This is the Liverpool game again. Very difficult to say. Liverpool's supply line for players used to be this team, Southampton. Southampton used to have like an academy, and they'd send teams to Liverpool, and they'd send to Arsenal. They just used to put out really good players. So the game can go either way. Southampton is one of those sneaker teams will just pop up and create an upset. So we'll see. I'll have a review for this in a few days, probably around Thursday, and then I'll pick the team so everybody can see. Just remember to look out for that video.